Okay, real question. Have you ever unboxed something you bought online, held it in your hands and thought, this feels like it was designed to break? Not in a dramatic way, just the zip feels wrong, the fabric already looks tired, the button wobbles, and you think, I bought this just 3 days ago. That's not an accident, by the way. That's a business model. Make it cheap, make it fast, make it just good enough that you don't return it. Then watch it fall apart and sell you another one. The EU looked at this system and said, we are going to need you to stop. And in 2026, they actually have the legal tools to back that up. Hi, I'm Joanna and this is WebshopSavvy, where we talk about shopping smarter online. Today we are unpacking the Ecodesign for Sustainable Products Regulation, ESPR, which is possibly the most important piece of consumer legislation most shoppers have never heard of. It affects what you can buy, what brands must tell you, and honestly, it changes the game for everyone who's ever felt ripped off by something that shouldn't have broken. Let's go! So first, what is this actually? ESPR is an EU regulation binding law, not suggestion, that creates a framework requiring almost every product sold in Europe to eventually meet new standards for durability, repairability, recyclability, and transparency. The key word there is framework, because this is important, and I'll come back to it. It replaced an older law that only covered energy-related products, washing machines, light bulbs, that kind of thing. The new version covers almost everything except food, medicine, and vehicles. Clothes, furniture, electronics, toys, cosmetics, all in scope. Now, ESPR itself entered into force in July 2024, but the framework regulation doesn't do much on its own. The actual product-specific rules come through what is called delegated acts, separate pieces of legislation the Commission adopts for each product category. That's the mechanism, and understanding it actually is the key to understanding what's happening right now in 2026 versus what's still coming. Because in 2026, the first real deadlines are hitting, and they are significant. Here's what is concretely happening this year. First, the Central DPP Registry, the technical infrastructure for digital product passports, opens on July 19, 2026. Think of it as a system being switched on. The rails are being laid. Second, and this one is the big one for fashion shoppers, the ban on destruction of unsold apparel, clothing, accessories, and footwear applies to large companies from 19th of July 2026. Third, large companies are already required to publicly disclose how much unsold stock they're destroying, reporting on their 2025 data, reporting this year. So 2026 is real and it's significant. But it's also the beginning of the multi-year rollout, not the finish line. And I want to make sure you know exactly what's coming when. Let's stay on the destruction ban, because this one is the part that genuinely shocked me when I first read about it. Every year in Europe, an estimated 4 to 9% of unsold textiles are destroyed before even being worn, generating around 5.6 million tons of CO2 emissions, almost equal to Sweden's total net emission in a year. Not donated, not discounted, not resold, destroyed, shredded, incinerated, landfilled, brand new items, never worn, gone, because it was cheaper and strategically safer for brands to destroy surplus than to let it hit discount channels and undercut their pricing. This has been completely legal. Multiple major brands have been caught doing it, and it's been an open secret in an industry for years. From 19th of July 2026, the ban applies to large companies covering apparel, clothing, accessories, and footwear. Medium-sized companies must comply from 2030. Micro and small enterprises are exempt from the ban entirely. There are some narrow exceptions, including distractions for safety reasons or where products are damaged or non-compliant. But the era of shredding perfectly good clothes to protect a price point is over for big brands. And alongside the ban, brands must publicly disclose the count and weight of unsold items destroyed each year, the reasons for distraction, and what measures they're taking to avoid it. The transparency piece is almost as powerful as the ban itself, because now we'll actually be able to see the numbers. For online shopper, what does this mean in practice? More genuine end-of-season sales, more official resale and donation programs from brands, more refurbished items at lower price points, and a lot more accountability pressure on the brands that have been quietly burning their excess for years. Now, this is the feature of ESPR that gets the most attention, and for good reason. It's genuinely transformative. The digital product passport is a digital record linked to a physical product accessible via a QR code or NFC chip that contains verified information about that product's entire life cycle. What it tells you, what the product is made of, how long it's designed to last, how repairable it is, how much recycled content it has, whether it contains harmful substances, and what to do with it at the end of life. It is basically a product's biography, with receipts. No more 100% eco-friendly with a leaf emoji and zero evidence. No more guessing that the €3 t-shirt is secretly 90% plastic. No more conscious collection with nothing behind it. The first mandatory DPP deadline is actually for EV and industrial batteries from February 2027. Textiles follow later. The good news? Some brands are already rolling out voluntary passports now. If you see a QR code on a product that links to real material and sustainability data, that brand is ahead of the curve. Reward that. When the textile DPP does become mandatory, here's what changes for you as an online shopper. Product listings will include the actual materials, not premium blend, the real percentages, expected lifespan, repairability score, recycled content, environmental footprint, harmful substances, end-of-life instructions. Imagine comparing two jackets and being able to see jacket A lasts an estimated 5 years, has 40% recycled content and has a repairable zip. Jacket B lasts 18 months, zero recycled content, sealed lining, non-repairable. That's not a vibe, that's data. And for the sustainability viewers here, this is the structural end of greenwashing as a viable marketing strategy. You'll either have a passport data to back up your claims or you won't. Beyond the passport, ESPR sets up the framework for mandatory durability and repairability standards. Products designed to last, to be fixed, to be taken apart, to be recycled. This is a direct attack on planned obsolescence, the deliberate practice of designing products to fail on schedule so you come back and buy again. The specifics for textiles will be defined in those same delegated acts expected around 2027, with compliance following 18 months later. But the direction is locked in. The Commission has committed to it. Brands that are smart are designing for it now. For you as a shopper, this eventually means fewer mystery gadgets that die after 3 months, fewer sweaters that peel after one wash, and a rising floor of quality, even at lower price points. Will prices go up? Honest answer, possibly slightly in the short term for some categories. Redesigning products costs money. Some of that gets passed on. But the fuller picture, you save money long term because you're replacing things less often. Repairs become more viable because products are designed to be fixed. Refurbished markets grow officially, and the business model that made money by selling you something disposable gets squeezed. A €60 jacket that lasts 5 years is a better deal than a €25 jacket you replace 3 times. The real price increase isn't going to your wallet, it's going to a model that depended on your stuff breaking. So what about fast fashion? Well, fast fashion is not going to disappear overnight, let's be realistic. But the shortcuts that made it work are being removed, one by one, on a legal timeline. They can't destroy unsold stock anymore, not from July this year. For large companies, they must disclose the waste publicly. We'll have to meet durability minimums once the delegated acts land. We'll have to back sustainability claims with passport data once a DPP is mandatory. The brands that adapt and invest in quality, circularity, and transparency will be fine. The ones whose entire model depended on hiding the damage, harder road ahead. So what you can do right now, you don't have to wait for the full rollout. Look for brands that are already publishing material data, repair guides, or voluntary passports. They're ahead of the curve and usually better products. When you see vague sustainability language with nothing behind it, a leaf emoji, the word conscious, zero data, skip it or wait for the passport. Favor official resale and refurbished programs. As the distraction ban bites, this will become more common and more trustworthy. And ask, how long will this last? If a brand can't or won't answer, that tells you something. ESPR is one of the most ambitious consumer and sustainability regulations the EU has ever passed. 2026 is when it starts to bite, with the distraction ban, the transparency requirements, and the infrastructure going live. 27 and 28 is when the next wave hits, the digital product passports, the durability standards, the full transparency picture. It's a multi-year shift, but the direction is set, the law is in force, and the first deadlines are right now. If this video was useful, please hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. Drop a comment if you have questions. I read them all. Stay savvy. See you in the next one.